everybody. I'm here with my good friend from the West Coast, Schea Cotton. Schea is the man-child, one of the best high school players ever seen. I met him 25 years ago in Long Beach, and he was the best in the nation. And he just came out with his documentary called The Man-Child yesterday, and there's a must-see for youth on the men and the women's side. Middle school boys, middle school girls, is a must-see. Schea, what's going on out there in California right now?
Good, man. Just enjoying this nice sunny day, chopping it up with you guys. Thanks for the opportunity, Jeff.
Okay, yeah. We need to really talk about this documentary because I watched it 4:30 in the morning, woke up before I got on the prayer line. I watched it, and it's amazing. It's a true life story of the pros and cons of what can happen with youth basketball. And you was one of the best that ever did it in your era. And a lot of these young guys is today where it's more AAU dominant and more camps. I ain't seen nobody like you in today's era. And some of the life things that you talk about is really impressive, from when you was on top, when you wasn't, when you played pro ball overseas, when you came back. Now, you didn't make the NBA, but certain things happened which caused that to happen or not happen. But I was there seeing you as a high school kid, as a college kid, and you was amazing. You coming up in the 90s era in LA, how was it?
Tough time, man. Different climate in the city. Kids got way more opportunity now. This was pre-social media, so there was the Street and Smith, which what we were shooting to be. McDonald's All-American, was the pinnacle in high school. All the publications with ESPN, and for us, my goal as a kid was to get to Sports Illustrated. They did a great job with the magazine, and I felt like everybody that made it there became discovered, not just nationally but worldwide, because it was all over the globe. So, I did that at 15 years old. But before all of this, growing up in humble beginnings in the LA Harbor area, Long Beach by way of San Pedro, my parents was trying to keep me and my brother out of the streets. Gang banging and dope dealing at that time was at an all-time high. I had friends and family that was in the streets. So I got a chance to get that 2 educations, one in the classroom, the other one in the streets. And then I took my talents to the basketball court. And it seemed like once I picked that rock up around 10 or 11, I never put it down. Kind of progressed pretty quickly. Got a really good trainer in Marvin Rinovich. I gleaned to my brother. I would play one-on-one against him and work out with a lot of his peers, which was always 2 and 3 years older, sometimes 4. So I would play against older, stronger opponents all the time. And then when I played against guys in my age bracket, it made it look a lot easier because I played with a world of confidence.
Oh, the first time I heard about you, I was in college, so this 93, and I was a counselor at ABCD camp in Michigan. So there was a lot of great players there, and they lost the championship to Michigan because they would split them up by what state they was from. They had guys like Doug Gottlieb, Jelani Gardner, guys like that. And you didn't even start high school, and your name was bigger than them. So I had to see you. I was like, I got to see this kid. I heard about him, blah, 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 blah. Then in the fall of 93, you was like 14, 15, as you enter in high school, it was a camp, and you was like the only rising ninth grader there. Marbury was there, Kevin Garnett, and I didn't go to it, but the reports came back that you was that guy. We was cool, but I hadn't seen you play in person until like NBA Top 100 in Princeton. You came on my neck of the woods, Princeton like an hour from Philly. I go out there. Joe Bryant, Kobe Pop, he texted me the other day. Rest in peace, Kobe. We got to go out there. The 2 hottest guys, I think Tim Thomas was there, Shaim Holloway. My boy Donnie Carr was there. He was kind of unknown nationally, but he was a ball player.
Right.
And Mike Bibby was there. The battle was Kobe Bryant versus Schea Cotton, or Schea Cotton versus Kobe Bryant. Best junior versus best senior in the nation. And it was a war. That day, Schea Cotton came out on top.
I wanted to say, shouts out to Cole, rest in peace to him, and my prayers are with his family. That time in 1995, NBA Players Camp was the first one they did, I believe. I was coming out of the West. I was already pretty much nationally known. And, as far as in my city in LA, I was the biggest thing next to Magic Johnson. So there was a ton of exposure, whether y'all knew about me or not on the East Coast. I mean, I was a Nike guy. So I did 3 years all-American all through high school in a row at Nike camp. So I saw a lot of the guys on the national level in the off season. But when me and Kobe met up, I had heard about him, but he wasn't really on the scene like I was. I was already like on a different trajectory. And then I heard about him and I said, well, if he's the one standing in my way, I got to see what's up with him too. So we can't, we linked up. I can remember we had a conversation the day before in the cafeteria. We was kind of jarring at each other a little bit. There was a big East-West beef at that time. So there was a lot of drive within me. I thought I had to prove myself because we was outnumbered as it was coming from the West. So with that being said, we played the next day. And I mean, I went right at him immediately. And he was like, he kept coming, and he was fighting. He held his ground the whole game. And even though I got the better end of him, he never quit. And I think that's a level of respect that we formed from that point. We had a bond. After the game, obviously I got the better end. My team won, and I hold that experience dear because we never got a chance to reconnect and play against each other again, ever. So, he's not here to speak on it, but for me, he was my best one-on-one matchup, and my prayers are going out to his family. Proud of what he did in his career. Made a huge name in the city of LA and made a huge impact in going down in history as one of the greatest.
That's amazing, man. I mean, it was a great matchup. I mean, if we can rely on the moments, everybody was there because at that time, there was a sneaker war with Adidas and Nike. So right. Sonny Vaccaro used to market Nike brand with his ABCD in the 80s, early 90s. And then he left and went to Adidas. So Adidas was jump starting in 93 in terms of the grassroots. So Nike was trying to find the next Michael Jordan. Adidas was trying to find the next Michael Jordan. And you were the two guys that were the guys. But at the end of the day, no. You was the guy. Because Kobe was just starting to get known.
Right.
You was the guy that they put they vision on the grassroots side. On the real, these youngins need to know, right? In terms of before LeBron James, before Felipe Lopez, before Kobe, Schea Cotton was the guy, and his AAU team that he ended up playing for, they were with smaller brands. When Schea came aboard, they had a good team, but he took them to another level because he sold out gyms. He packed the stands. That Nike did a big endorsement deal with the AAU program, Southern California All-Stars, Pat Bear, because of Schea Cotton.
Oh, that was a memorable time. I was in summer school at that time for Adidas. I got in the math class that my teacher in high school didn't want to pass me. He had a vendetta, I guess, against my coach. So he screwed me. All my grades was good. Other than that, so I had to get the grade up. So I chose to go to summer school. So my AAU coach reached out to me about a couple weeks into summer school for a tournament that they went on in Vegas at that time in the summer. We was playing against our rivalry in LA, LA K-Swiss Pacers with Paul Pierce and Barron and Tremaine Ross and guys like that. And they joined forces with KG, partnered up with him, brought him into their squad, flew him into Vegas. And my AAU coach called me and said, they got Paul Barron and KG on the same team. I need you. So I told him, I said, just send me the ticket. So he sent a plane ticket. I flew out. We had a battle. I mean, KG was amazing, man. At that time, 6'11", with all the guard skills, with just a relentless attack. I mean, he had so much motor at that height I had never seen. I mean, he was blocking people's jump shot, grabbing it with one hand, literally just bringing it down and cuffing it, yelling at the wall, doing all type of antics like that. I had never seen that before. I'm not going to expose my center, but my center on my team was having his way with everybody up until that night. And at that point, KG pretty much was the best player in the country at that size that I had seen, and I knew he was going to be special. But, I did my part. I think I had like 38 that game. We lost probably like 7 or 8. I just needed a little bit more help, But I did my thing. We had a great experience. I think I dunked on KG about 3 times in that game. So that's one that sticks out in my head because of the momentum that he had and the buzz that he had. I went right at him too. I didn't care. That was the difference between me and some of these other guys. I came up in the West, so we had to earn everything. The writers always been East Coast biased. They always thought we were soft, this and that. So I wanted to dispel all the rumors myself. I had a lot of great players come up before me. John Hot Plate Williams, Raymond Lewis, rest in peace. Harold Miner. This the land, baby. We got plenty of talent out here. So, but we never really got any credit until now. I think people see that Southern California is a basketball hotbed. And the other thing is, when you think about LA basketball, we're not even factoring in the Bay Area. We're just talking about down south. You got a bunch of guys from up north that made it too. Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Antonio Davis. I could go on and on. Drew Gooden, Aaron Gordon. These are all guys that have been maxed out pretty much in their tenure in basketball. So coming from LA at that time, I was the guy that was driving the vehicle. It's like my play was warranting all the exposure, the personal Nike deal, the Nike sponsorship deal, my AU team, which was the first on the West Coast, at like $180,000 for 3.5, 4 months of basketball. This was a huge deal at that time. And now with all the social media, a lot of stuff has been diluted. So people aren't really grasping what this meant at that time. This is pre-social media once again. There was nothing that was more relevant, and there was nothing that was more in demand. So it was a hell of a ride.
So, man, this is J4, Schea, man, one of the Checkball affiliates, man. So as you talking about this, man, why don't you talk to us? How did you even get started playing the game, man? Was it happening on your block? Did somebody put you on? Older brothers, siblings? How did you get into the game?
I started out playing baseball early on, about 10 years old. We lasted, me and my brother, about a couple of years. I had talent. I was a right fielder. I could hit, I could field, and I had natural instincts. But I got bored with it, and I would always play on the playground with the older kids after school at lunch and stuff like that. Just had a lot of energy, so I was always active. And I watched basketball, but baseball was my first love. So I grew bored with baseball right around 11 and picked up basketball in the normal park league where I grew up, Tech Park in San Pedro. So, and that was strictly to keep me on the right track, because at that time, things was changing. I saw a lot of family members that was getting incarcerated. Guys was in the streets. I buried my best friend at 15. He got murdered. So a lot of things changed for me from young, and I had to make some grown-up decisions. So by the time I turned 12, I was full-fledged in basketball, never looked back. ESPN, SSA, Scholastic Sports America, Sunkissed Kids, that did 2 cover stories on me, 2 layouts, 12 or 13 years old. So I had national attention before I even touched middle school. So by the time I got to middle school, I was just climbing and climbing and climbing. And going into high school, I was touted as one of the top 10 players in the country. By the time I was a sophomore, I was the #1 player in North America in 1995, over Kevin Garnett, Vince Carter, all these other names. And I was an underclassman, and these guys were upperclassmen. So this was a huge deal at that time. And I feel like God blessed me with a gift to entertain people on the court. But there's a lot of other things that he blessed me with as well, like an opportunity with this Manchild documentary for people to see my life on a canvas and learn from the good, bad, and indifferent, and be inspired by the story.
I got up at 4:30 in the morning. I turned it on. I seen it. It was inspiring me because, as we mentor these kids, coach them, run programs, you gotta have a balance. You had a balance, because anybody else, they probably been did something crazy. And I read you started to, but at the end of the day, you kept your spirit in you, and you went the right way. Man, y'all had some ball players, but you the one in that era that brought attention to Southern California. Just like when Rashid came to Philly in 90-91 as a freshman, 89-90. we had recruiters, but that slipped a little from the Hank and Bo a little before. She bought them recruiters.
Right.
Right?
Simon
Just
Grass.
like you. 97 class, y'all had about 10 players in the top 50 in the country, and they all was legit. Kenny Bruner, Schea Cotton, Kevin Augustine, Baron Davis, my boy Bradley, Shinowitz, the Collin twins, what's the boy name? Burgess.
Yep, Chris
Ron
Burgess.
Max. It was serious.
Yep.
It was serious, man. And then the guys after that benefited my man Tony Bland.
Right.
Kenny Bruner was a dog. Him and Barry, I seen them alone. Woo,
let me tell you, man. People don't know how good Kenny was, man. I mean, Bad Santa with and when they saw little snippets of what we experienced on the AAU circuit. Kenny was my point guard for like 2 years straight AAU. We didn't lose because he guarded you 90 feet. He didn't care where you was from, who you was. He was right out.
Only when you got hurt. Only when you got hurt.
Yeah.
Against the player, Gary Charles called me and teased me about that. He said, "Don't on them." He said, but they put what happened was the rule where they said they put the second unit in, and you had 38 and 3/4.
Right.
Their second unit was better than y'all second unit because of the rules they had to do. And then when you couldn't come in for the fourth, that was it.
Yeah, it was too much of a deficit with the gap. But like you said, I had 38 and 4/4. I tore my shoulder. I tore my rotator cuff that game. Man, when I think about that play used to haunt me for years, man, because before that injury, I felt bionic. I could literally do whatever I wanted on the floor. It didn't matter who was in front of me. It didn't matter who I was playing against. You might contain me for a little bit, but eventually I'm going to bust out. And what I enjoyed to do was pass, man. People don't realize I started the game playing point. I was smaller. I was slender. I didn't always have my size. I mean, I shot up about 3 or 4 inches in one summer and really started coming into my own. But before that, I was a scrawny kid, underweight, but just a relentless pursuit. I had a huge drive for the game, and I wasn't scared. So I took those components and put them together and just kept working and created something that, they gave me a moniker, the Manchild. Today, it still sticks. I mean, 20-something odd years later, they're still talking about what I did on the floor. I feel like I accomplished my goal. We could talk about not making the NBA in the millions and stuff, but listen, I'm not dead. So if you're alive, you got fight in you, you got a chance. And my peers that made it, I wish them the best. I went through hell the last 20 years. Nobody helped me. The one that was there for me was my mom's. Mama loved. She never turned her back on me. A lot of people came and went, and it built character in me that's better than money. And I'm taking all these experiences and giving them back to the youth. And that's what's more important today, because I didn't have me growing up. If I would have had me, things probably would be a lot different for me, because I would have been able to steer away from certain temptation and certain distractions, because I'm a kid in a sport, in a business dealing with adults. My mother and father wasn't basketball people. They was just teaching me and my brother to stay off the streets, be accountable people, of high faith and integrity. And I feel like they accomplished that.
This whole Manchild thing, man, I know this Checkball affiliate J4, man. I didn't get a chance to people, but physically, man, you were physically dominant, right? So when did you know that you were like that? Was it just DNA? You was built like that? But when did you know that you could step on that floor, man, and you could control it? At what age? Like you said, then also I want you to think about and talk to us about what was the most amazing thing where you kind of surprised yourself that you were able to do physically?
That's a great question. I think I started coming into my own and realized I could pretty much do whatever I wanted to do on the court. When I hit Sports Illustrated at 15, right before that article came out, we won the state championship in 1995. As a sophomore, I was a state player of the year in CIF Southern California, the state of California rather, and I was a John Wooden Player of the Year, which really had never been done. I was able to get State Player of the Year. We won a state title as a sophomore. It still hasn't been done. No sophomore in the state of California has ever won a title and been the State Player of the Year. So there's milestones that were hit very young. At that time, when I was 15, I felt like I could do no wrong. I'm playing at UCLA in the men's gym. I walk in the gym. Magic Johnson's running the first court. The pros are on that court. Everybody else is college players on the other court. If you're not in the league and you're not playing at a Division I, you're not going to play. I'm in high school now. I'm not even in college yet. I'm walking in the gym, Magic's yelling out, "I got Cotton." at that point, I knew I was on my way because Magic had already been established as the Magic Man. The Showtime era, they were coming into the back end of that. You know, I grew up in that, so I got a chance to watch great basketball. But I would glean the Magic because he was such a professional. You know, his charisma and his work ethic and his personality, I think, is what drove him today to be such a business mogul that he is. But being in Los Angeles at that time, that was big for me because Magic was my Michael Jordan, you know, and I love what Jordan did. I was a huge guy as an historian of basketball, but I wasn't a Jordan fan. I respected what he did. My favorite player was Ron Harper in Cleveland before his knee surgery. So I studied the game, and I would watch a lot of different players and put it all in my game and then put my flavor on it. So they compared me to Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan. They said I was like that combination put together at one point. So, and I'm not sure if it came from Sports Illustrated or what journalist, but I thought that was a good comparison because I had the athleticism that Jordan had with the skill set, with the toughness of a Charles Barkley, like just no back down mentality, and I'm gonna just keep coming.
Vaughn, go ahead, man. Let's get to the documentary, man, for this last one. As we prepare to close out, Vaughn, give us those thoughts on that, man. About
so
that.
What we're gonna do, right? I already reached out to my colleagues around the world, right? My guys in Toronto, which you showed the free doc, All-Star Weekend 2016, and to my Philly guys, we got to get you to the East Coast. We just got to pray this to get better and figure it out. We got to get you here and make it happen because so the people can see what amazing player and person you is, and they get to see that doc. Because this not just a California story, even though you from California, this is a story that's happening now. And I have some guys that went to the McDonald's game, kind of big-headed, and I'm real. I'll be like, yo, y'all wasn't better than Schea Cotton. He wasn't big-headed. Y'all need to humble yourself. Yeah. Because it's a bigger world, it's a long way to go. And the story needs to be told. You know, you did it the NBA Top 100.
Man, thank you, Schea. If you would, just wrap up for us real quickly, man. Tell the people why they need to see this documentary, man, who it's targeted for, why top AAU players, top prospects, why it's important for them to see this, and what they can expect from the film, and we'll close out.
I would like to really stress the importance of everyone seeing the Manchild documentary, the Schea Cotton story. This is available now on all platforms where you can purchase films, iTunes, Vimeo. If you have an Android. Manchild documentary is a story about my life growing up in Los Angeles, becoming the #1 player in North America. I was a can't-miss NBA lottery pick that didn't get drafted. There's circuitous type of lifestyle, a lot of twists and turns. This documentary is strong. It's very impactful. It's inspirational. It's going to help kids, adults, everybody in between. You know, I want everybody to take some time out, order it. It's about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Sit down, no interruption, and just pay attention. There's a lot of content, and I want people to be inspired. So definitely check it out. And I want to send a lot of love and peace out to the world. Thank you guys for this opportunity. You can find it on my IG handle, @Schea Cotton. Click the link in my bio, okay? And go to any streaming platform and type in the Manchild, the Schea Cotton documentary. You should be good.
Man, we own it, man. From Checkball, man, we want to let you know we proud of you, man. You definitely are a legend, man. You did what you did. Vaughn, close us out, brother.
First, we'd like to thank God for this opportunity to bring people together during these tough times with corona and racism. I see my boy Steven Jackson last week. He's on the documentary. Baron Davis, Paul Pierce. But the main guy on there is Schea Cotton. Out of Southern California, but his story is around the world. Checkball Mag salutes Manchild documentary, his directors and everyone. And also you, Javin, for bringing this opportunity to put us together as one. God bless you all. And go check out that Manchild documentary, the Schea Cotton story. Peace.